Morning, morning to all of you out there. Holy cow, yeah. We got to get our coffee rolling. All right, gonna check our morning to all of you out there. Gonna check our audio. I think we look good. All right, so today we're continuing we're finishing up our 32 NFL team total draft grades. I just figured it was time just to get through them all. There was only just a couple teams we had left from yesterday, so. A lot of different things going on with this too. I felt like there were some teams that did some good things. A lot of teams, in my mind, like the Vikings, that were like it was really left. You were set there, you were left there, sitting there thinking, "What? Like, come on." All right, let's see here. Leave a like if you're watching. We greatly appreciate it. Really appreciate it. I'm okay. I swear I'm okay. All right. Sweet. Okay. So yeah, let's jump right into it then. Talk about the rest of these NFL team draft grades. We'll start with the Denver Broncos. That was the team that I think that was up next. We finished with the Bears last night. So 2022 draft picks. No, I don't care about the schedule. Well, I do, but not right now. All right, Nick Benito. That's the first pick I think they had, but that was a really good pick. Anyway. Okay, so here we go. So you get Nick Benito here in the bottom of the second round. Honestly, Nick Benito might have been like this is the best case scenario that honestly could have ended up for a team like the Broncos. Like they needed some edge help, but Nick Benito was a guy honestly last year that I was very impressed with. Had 7 sacks over there at Oklahoma, 15 tackles for loss. I really liked this pick. I was like, it doesn't get any better than that. You get one of the best edge rushers in this draft to fall to you at 64. I'm bringing up their depth chart, but I was like, wow, that's just a tremendous value pick for them. Makes it easy for them. Their offense is going to look pretty good with Russell Wilson. And obviously they also got Greg Dulcich, who we'll talk about in just a second. But yeah, you talk about Nick Benito, Bradley Chubb, DJ Jones. This edge is, I mean, the Broncos' edge defenses are just going to be nasty. They are going to be very, very good for the Broncos. I'm really excited about that. Then Greg Dulcich here, Dulcich was honestly, to me, I was really excited about Dulcich. He's a guy that had, I want to say we'll look it up right now. Had like 7 touchdowns last year for UCLA. I'm just sitting there. I'm like, are you kidding me? 5 touchdowns, 700 yards. That's what it was. Yeah, a total of 42 catches, 725 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Listen, they needed to replace Noah Fant after that trade. I'm low key a little salty for Noah Fant though. Like I'm low key a little angry because we're talking about a guy in Noah Fant that really truly never had a good quarterback in Denver, and all of a sudden this man gets traded. I'm like, come on. Like, this is just mean. They get Russell Wilson and he gets traded. That's just rough. That's just not right. But anyway, so the Broncos here, yeah, I love that starting things out here with Benito and Dulcich, 2 big-time picks that I think are going to be able to contribute for a long time. Damari Mathis, the corner was kind of one of those things I was wondering when they were going to address it, but here they do so in the 4th round. You talk about a guy that's 5'11", a $195, maybe two bills, but coming out of Pitt, I like what I saw on tape. 43 total tackles last year, 2 interceptions, and I think into the NFL, that's kind of one of the hardest transitions and it's one of the hardest, honestly, positions is corner. Like I know it's quarterback. That's the number 1 hardest position, but corner's up there. Like you have to be able to, like the wide receivers know the route. You don't. You got to be able to follow them, shut them down. Yeah, it's rough, man. He had a 68.0 PFF grade last year. Out of playing 13 games, a total of 722 defensive snaps. Did allow looks like 3 touchdowns as well as over 400 yards receiving on 66 targets. So had a 71.8 PFF passer rating when thrown at. So it's not great. Not awful, but I think that the Broncos. Here's the thing, though, with the Broncos, he doesn't need to start right away. When we talk about, they've got Pat Surtain and Ronald Darby on the outside there, but he could definitely learn behind those guys for a year and be something special moving forward. Ioma Uruzarike, Ioma Uwuz. You know what? That's it. I'm doing it right now. Hold on. Give me a sec. Sorry. UIOM. Yoma. UW. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna finally learn how to say this. Let's see. Okay. Hopefully they say.
Under pressure. It's set.
Uwazurike. Oh, it's like, okay, never mind. It's like that old, what was it? I can't even remember what it was. Who was it? Uwazurike for the Lions last year. I'm sorry, we got heavily sidetracked, but Iyoma Uwazurike, I really liked. I could never pronounce his name throughout this entire draft process, and I tried to do it for you guys right now. But when you watch the tape on a guy like Uwazurike, you really like what a guy that gets the interior pressure, that really brings it from the inside, because he is an overall stud. Like, honestly, he's a guy that you just watch and you're like, okay, a team could get behind this kind of pass rushing ability in that 6'6", 320 range. Had a total of 9 sacks, 12 tackles for loss, and 43 total tackles. To get him here in the 4th round, I don't even think it's a reach. I really like the pick. Overall, I would give it probably B plus, B plus A. So for these first, 2 picks are A's for me, because Dulcich and Benito. Mathis, B plus. Yeah, I'll give it a B. And then Uwazurike here, I'd give it a B plus. I think there's a lot of upside. And then Delarin, Turner, Yell. I liked all these safeties, but guys like Delarin, Turner, Yell, honestly, when you take a look at them, you're like, okay, what is going to be, how are they going to transition to the NFL? We're talking about a guy, again, in that 5'11", 6-foot range, 2 Bills, 53 total tackles for the Sooners last year, 2.5 tackles for loss, also had 3 interceptions. And you wonder, okay, what are they actually going to do? What are they going to bring to the Broncos? Well, they've got Kareem Jackson, they got Justin Simmons, who are, to a degree, they're getting up there to a degree. But you also got to remember they took Caden Stearns and Jamar Johnson, so they still have got some guys that can play safety back there. So I do think he's at least a developmental guy, especially there in the 4th round. But you do love to see it. Montrell Washington, this was one of my favorite picks of the draft, because I just felt like, yes, the Broncos have some wide receivers, don't get me wrong. You talk about Courtland Sutton, who I had him on my fantasy team last year, and he just completely decided not to go off. Just how it goes, I guess. But he was a guy that just, honestly, him and Tim Patrick, I was just sitting there, him and Jerry Jeudy as well. Montrell Washington, I think, is going to fit in nicely here. Probably will take a little bit to get going, but I do think that once he does, he's going to be a favorite target of Russell Wilson, and I love it. I absolutely love this pick. Let's see here. Let's see. That's rough. Okay. All right, so 820 receiving yards last year. Also had 6 rushing touchdowns, a total of 17 touchdowns. Just an all-around stud. Smaller school guy, but that sometimes if you have a good enough quarterback, those small school guys can kind of come in and find a way to contribute. So I'm excited about that pick. Luke Wannberg was one of my favorite picks of this draft. I loved Luke Wannberg coming out. I felt like he was a guy that honestly, I knew that, and I think everybody else knew, Tyler Linderbaum was the number 1 graded center coming out this, but I felt like Luke Wattenberg's his flexibility and all the different things he could do, I loved it. This guy was going to be an absolute stud. It might take him a little bit, but I do think he might come in right from day one and start because that's how talented he is, and that's what he can bring to any franchise. Might take, like I said, I think I said it the entire mock draft period. I think he is this year's Trey Smith. I really know. I think that he's one of those players that honestly is going to be a let's see, I'm just looking up something here. But yeah, like I said, versatility goes a long way in the NFL, and it's really good to I think it's really good to bring in offensive linemen that can do a little bit of something for you. So and then Mike Henningsen here, 34 total tackles, 6 tackles for loss, 3.5 sacks. Again, it never hurts to bring in these guys that have the size, have the speed, have everything that you want. I honestly do like it a lot. I think this is something special that does find a way to, kind of. I don't have a problem with taking edge rushers kind of late or even really developmental guys. Good Lord, I need to wait. I'm going to have some coffee. There we go. Let us know how you guys drink it. So yeah, Mike Henningsen, again, having depth, having guys to really work on and be able to really mold and develop, I think that's a big part of any franchise. So I love the pick here. Then Fayon Hicks here, same school, baby. But I do think, again, I'm more of a special teams guy, and I love it. I do really like that pick there. Just, again, getting guys in that can make plays, do their kind of a thing. Let's see here. So that does it for the Broncos. So let's see here. Let's see. It's Broncos, Dolphins. Okay. So, yeah, the Dolphins traded away their first-round pick for Tyreek Hill. So, yeah, I believe the first and or second. But Channing Tindall here, inside linebacker, out of Georgia. I really liked Channing Tindall. I felt he was a guy that, him and Nakobe Dean really did tear it up last year for the Bulldogs. I was really happy to see him go to a good franchise here in the Dolphins. 67 total tackles, 7.5 for loss, 5.5 sacks as well. So, I think he's going to fit in nicely there in Miami. I felt to a degree also that I did question how and where he's going to be plugged in right away. But, Miami's offense is going to be a lot of fun. We talked about, having Tua there. Also, Chase Edmonds, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, that's going to be nasty. But this defense, there were some things I had some questions with. But, is Tyndall going to come in and start right away? We'll have to come in and see. But I think he can definitely provide a little something for him. Fourth round, number 125 overall, Eric Uwazawamama. Jeez. There were so many players throughout this draft process that I tried to learn, but there's honestly a lot of these guys that and he was big too. That's right, I remember him. And now it's ringing a bell. We're talking about a guy, honestly, 3 seasons in a row with over 660 receiving yards. We're talking about a guy that in that stretch also had 14 touchdowns in kind of a smaller school-ish to a degree. So I liked him coming out of Texas Tech. Does provide a little bit of something. They already got Tyreek Hill, like we talked about, Jalen Waddle and Cedric Wilson as well, who I think is actually going to have a bigger impact than a lot of people are thinking. But we're going to call him Double E here, Ian E. I think he's going to be a really good kind of a guy that's going to come in and be able to provide a little something off the bench. I love it. 7th round here, Cameron Good, outside linebacker out of Cal. Yes, talking about that size, 6'4", 240 pounds. I do think this kind of reminds me of those players that just come in and provide a little something. That might not be a starter right away, but he is at least he's got the size you want. You can develop him into something. 6.5 sacks last year, 45 total tackles, 8.5 tackles for loss. Yes. Let's see here. Yes, and then Skylar Thompson. I really like Skylar Thompson coming out of Kansas State. I just felt like him and Chris Oladokun from SDSU. Those were two guys that I'm like, they might surprise some people. They might get drafted and actually surprise some people. So I was really pleased with that pick for the Dolphins. So we got the Dolphins. We got the Broncos. Is that it? There's no way. We got the Saints. I think the Colts are it. Colts and Rams. Here we go. Okay. Yeah, Colts. Oh, it started off with Alec Pierce here. Alec Pierce is one of those guys, a big-bodied receiver that I'm like, okay, what can the Colts, what are they going to do here? What do they really want to address? Because the Vikings traded with him, and I'm thinking, okay, what is going to happen here? But you know what? I really did like it. I felt like this is a guy that's going to come in and start. Him and Michael Pittman Jr., that's just going to be nasty. Absolutely nasty. But I really did like a guy, like Alec Pierce. The question is, what are you expecting from him day one? Hold on, give me a sec here. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little slow this morning. Yeah, bigger receiver. Honestly, it might be a jump ball guy, which I think Michael Pittman Jr. to a degree, but over 800 receiving yards last year for Cincinnati. Also had 8 touchdowns. So I really liked what I saw from Alec Pierce. And then they get Jelani Woods. This is one of my favorite tight ends of the draft. We're talking about a freak. A guy that's just like 6'7", 6'8", but I really like Jelani Woods coming out of Virginia Tech. I felt like he was a guy that honestly Virginia Tech. 44 catches, 598 yards last year, 8 touchdowns. Yeah, that's 6'7", 275. This is basically a defensive lineman playing tight end. I love it. Then they get Central Michigan's Bernard Raymond here, offensive tackle. First round draft grade that they got in the 3rd round here. Come on, that's just nasty. The Nick Cross, one of the best safeties in the draft. This is just like 4 home run picks, and the Colts really got things nailed down here. Then they go back with defensive tackle Eric Johnson here out of Missouri State. Again, bringing guys on the inside, going to bring a little something. They've already got DeForest Buckner, Grover Stewart as well, but I think Eric Johnson will be a nice little stopgap player, not a stopgap player, but a player that'll come in and be able to provide a little something on pass rushing downs or just help him out in general. Also, Youngstown State's Andrew Ogletree here, in the 6th round. Again, I think doubling down on tight end, I don't think that's a problem by me in any facet of it. I think you talk about having Mo Alley Cox and Jelani Woods. It never hurts to have another tight end for camp, bring in another body. Then they brought in Cincinnati defensive tackle Curtis Brooks. Curtis Brooks was one of those guys, this entire Cincinnati squad they were stacked, but I think he's going to join, I love his teammates here, and I love it. Curtis Brooks coming in with guys like Eric Johnson, to play defensive tackle with, not his teammate. I mean, he was teammates with Alex Pierce, but no, I really like this. I felt like he was a guy that's going to come in and just have a lot of fun. So let's see here. 7th round, 239 overall, Rodney Thomas II. Yes, it looked like Rodney Thomas, honestly had his best games against Cornell. Like maybe you've heard of it. Yes, that's an Office reference, but I really like that. I thought that was a really good pick. Just bringing in a guy from those Ivy Leagues. He's got the size, he's got the speed. I think he's even got some kickoff return ability too. So you do like that ability as well. Let's see here. Panthers. Yeah, we got the Panthers. Rams. I think the Rams are it. Yes, that sounds right. Okay, we'll jump in for the Rams here and we'll call it. Let's see here. Rams. All right, that's not what I'm looking for. Yeah, we know what picks they had, but who did they take? I forgot. Here we go. Thank you. Oh, yeah, they just kicked off Logan Bruss. That's right. Yes. They needed some offensive line help. That was one thing I was kind of concerned with the Rams. Like, you talk about losing a couple of different guys. I love that. Taking Logan Bruss here out of Wisconsin in the 3rd round to start things off. He's going to start day one. I know it might be a little bit, but no, this guy's a stud. He's going to be a really good offensive lineman. Again, Bruss, PFF, off the top of my head, 6'5", 309. Let's see here. 82.5 PFF grade. Did not allow a sack last year and over 640 snaps. Did allow 2 quarterback hits and 7 hurries. But yeah, I love this pick. I felt like they needed some O-line help. Getting a quality O-lineman here in the 3rd round. Yes. The Jacoby Durant. I not gonna lie. I thought this was kind of one of those that was a kind of a reach, but I get it to a degree. I mean, they did need some. You always need depth at corner, but I did feel like this was kind of a little bit of a reach. But a guy that's 5'11", 180. So at the end of the day, I was expecting a little bit more in terms of picks here. But no, Jacoby Durant, he does provide honestly some more depth for him at corner, and that's exactly what you like to see at the end of the day. So you can't really complain about this. So let's see here at South Carolina State. Total of 3 interceptions, 38 total tackles, 1 sack as well. So you like overall the idea of bringing in corner help. Thought it was a little high though, but you'll take it. You also got Jalen Ramsey there, Grant Haley. He'll come in right away and at least be kind of help him out there. Then Kyron Williams here. Oh yeah, out of Notre Dame. Okay. You talk about they don't really need a whole bunch of running backs right now, like this next year. But Cam Akers is getting up there. Darrell Henderson's been there for a couple of years now. I've seen this at a lot of NFL teams. It just they're taking players honestly that are running backs that they don't necessarily need them this year, but the next year is when they've got a rookie contract that's expiring or a player that's getting up there in age. So I get it. I totally get it. Getting a guy like Williams here. Let's see here. That's the Colts. That can disappear. Let's see here. Oh, yeah. Quentin Lake, safety out of UCLA. You really like where they're going here because there's a couple of, again, I do think there's kind of something to be said for bringing in guys and planning for the future. And I think that's what Lake is here. When you talk about Taylor Rapp and Jordan Fuller here, and plus it never hurts to have some more quality depth. Let's see here. Get that. Let's see. Thank you guys for being so patient. 6'1", 205, 53 total tackles, 3 interceptions, 2 tackles for loss. Yes, 6'1", 205. He's in that perfect size, too. You love that size. Let's see here. Darian Kendrick, corner out of Georgia. Hey, just won a natty. You got to love it. Honestly, you talk about doubling down to a degree on corner here. Again, that's we've seen it from all these NFL teams, the teams that bring in these guys that can play corner, do a lot of different things for you. You do really overall like it, but I felt like, I didn't have a problem bringing in a corner here because he was honestly kind of a player that you never know. When you bring in these guys that have the size, the speed, that can do a lot of different things. 41 total tackles last year, had 2 tackles for loss and 4 interceptions. So, around the ball a lot, it seems, and is able to make plays when he does have that opportunity. Daniel Hardy, edge out of Montana State here. I loved Daniel Hardy. Him and Troy Anderson. I was kind of like, okay, smaller school guy. What are they actually going to be able to do? But no, I really like Daniel Hardy. I felt like, a guy, 16 sacks, yes, 20 or 70 total tackles. I believe they won the championship as well against South Dakota State. So, that's rough. But overall, you really like overall what they did here, bringing in a defensive edge guy that's going to come in. Might be able to provide something a little bit. I know that I honestly just a guy that is a little bit of a project, but I don't have a problem bringing in a smaller school guy that's got the intangibles, got the size. Let's see what he can do. Russ Hurst, safety at Kansas State, special teams guy. I love it. Honestly, a guy that's going to come in. I think if he doesn't make the roster, he's going to probably be a practice squad guy, and they'll see what they can get out of him there. And then finally, AJ Curry, offensive tackle out of Michigan State. Another project. Bring him in, see what he can do, and have a little bit of fun with it. But it looks like, let's say, Black Trucks, what's up? Just here to show love. I really appreciate it. Good morning to you. I hope you're having your good coffee this morning. Let us know how you guys drink it once again. But yeah, that's I think that is our complete 32-team NFL mock draft. Let us know what you guys thought of this. We were like, it's going to take us like a week to get all these specific grades, these draft grades out. So let us know what you guys think. We've been sitting here kind of wondering, okay, do we do this all by division? Do we do this? I'm like, let's just sit down and do it in front of them. That's just, honestly, we started a couple out and I was like, let's just try this. If it doesn't work next year, we got to go back to the old school way of going back to Excel and all that. That's fine. I don't have a problem doing that. I just want to let you know. I just want to bring it all to you guys right away and just kind of get it all started. But thank you guys for showing us love. We'll be really happy and excited to bring you guys more content as we move forward. But yeah, let us know what you guys think, and we will see you around. And let's get ready for an NFL season. Super excited.